Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. India is planning to buy 26 Rafale marine fighter aircrafts and 3 Scorpion-class conventional submarines from France, reports have stated. The proposals have reportedly been placed before the Defence Ministry by the Defence Forces and are likely to be announced during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to France this week. The deals are estimated to be worth over 90,000 crores. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO has dropped a requirement for Ukraine to follow a membership action plan, setting out targets to be met before joining the bloc. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said, "I welcome this long-awaited decision that shortens our path to NATO," Kuleba tweeted. NATO leaders will meet in Vilnius for a summit on July 11th and 12th. In an interview with the CNBC, Indian Space Research Organization ISRO's chairman S. Somnath said India is likely to plan its next moon mission with Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA. The fourth moon mission of the country is expected to be launched in 2026, he added. This statement comes ahead of the launch of Chandrayaan-3 on Friday. Chandrayaan-2 had partially failed. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be honoured with Lokmanya Tilak Award on August 1st in Pune. He is the 41st recipient of this award, which has been previously conferred upon former Prime Ministers Indira Gandhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Manmohan Singh, amongst others. It's presented annually by Tilak Smarak Mandir Trust on Lokmanya Tilak's death anniversary. Preeti Aghalyam will become the first woman IIT director, leading the new IIT campus in Zanzibar, Tanzania, which is an extension of IIT Madras. She pursued BTech from IIT Madras and MS in Chemical Engineering from University of Rochester. She did PhD from University of Massachusetts. Aghalyam joined IIT Madras in 2010 and is a professor in Chemical Engineering. Cabinet on Wednesday this week approved the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill, which aims to reduce compliance burden on the companies for the ease of doing business, sources said. Besides seeking discrimination of minor offences, it also envisages the rationalization of monetary penalties depending on the gravity of the offence. The bill is likely to be tabled in Parliament's monsoon session. A private Chinese firm, Landscape, successfully launched the world's first methane liquid oxygen rocket, which would become the next generation of launch vehicle in space. The Zhonghe 2 carrier rocket took off from the Zuiquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China at 9 am on Wednesday this week and completed its planned flight. This was Landspace's second attempt after a failed launch in December. French President Emmanuel Macron has bestowed the Grand Cross of the Legions of Honor on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is the highest French honor in military or a civilian orders. Prime Minister thanked President Macron for this singularly honor on behalf of the people of India. The award ceremony took place at the Elysee Palaces in Paris, the government said. India has responded to a resolution adopted by the European Parliament asking India to do everything in its power to end violence in Manipur. Such interference in India's internal affairs is unacceptable and reflects a colonial mindset, Centre said. Indian authorities are taking steps to maintain law and order, it said, adding that EU Parliament must focus on its own issues. Microsoft is replacing the default font in 365 and Office apps after 15 years. In a blog, the company said its default font, Calibri, will be replaced by Aptos, a new sans serif typeface that's inspired by mid-20th century Swiss topography. Aptos is a professional and yet relatable, the company said. The new default typeface will appear across Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel starting this week. Singapore has narrowly avoided entering into recession. Its economy grew by 0.7% year on year and 0.3% quarter on quarter in the second quarter. Preliminary government data showed. In the first quarter, Singapore's economy had contracted by 0.4% quarter on quarter. Earlier this month, the Monetary Authority of Singapore (MAS) had warned of an uncertain growth outlook with downside risks. India and France have reached an agreement to use India's Unified Payment Interface (UPI) in France. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced in Paris. In the coming days, UPI usage will begin from Eiffel Tower, which means Indian tourists will now be able to pay in rupees, he added. It's your responsibility to carry forward, Prime Minister Modi told the audience. In addition, this week, India and United Arab Emirates (UAE) have also agreed to start trade settlements in local currencies. Popular non-sugar sweetener aspartame has been classified as possibly carcinogenic to humans, according to two groups linked with World Health Organization. The classification means that there is a limited evidence a substance that can cause cancer. Aspartame is an artificial chemical sweetener widely used in various foods and beverages products since 1980s, including diet drinks, chewing gums, gelatin, and ice cream, among others. Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia on Friday this week inaugurated India's first elevated taxiway at Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. We have inaugurated India's first ever fourth runway and an elevated dual taxi, a step that slashes fuel consumption and saves time, Delhi Airport tweeted. It will also reduce the distance an aircraft has to cover from present 9 kilometers to 2 kilometers. The Defence Public Sector Undertaking (DPSUs) of India and France have signed a memorandum of understandings to manufacture submarines and surface combatants and parts in Mumbai and Kolkata, respectively, for export to third countries. The memorandum of understandings will launch Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Make in India initiative. Mumbai-based Mazagon Dockyards Limited will reportedly manufacture Scorpion-class submarines with French naval group. India and France will also jointly develop a combat aircraft engine. Further, a technical office of DRDO will also be set up at the Indian Embassy in Paris. The Indian Institute of Technology Delhi will set up its first global campus in Abu Dhabi. An memorandum of understanding in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Abu Dhabi on Saturday. The master's degree course will be offered from January next year, while the bachelor's degree program will start from September 2024. India's third lunar mission Chandrayaan-3 was successfully launched from Sriharikota on 14 July 2023. The mission is expected to land on Moon on August 23 or 24. Chandrayaan-3 lander has a mission life of 1 lunar day, that is 14 Earth days. It carries 3 payloads. Its mass is 1,749.86 kg, including the rover. Rover's mission life is also 1 lunar day. The Chandrayaan-3 lander and the rover will be carrying several payloads to the Moon. The lander will be carrying Rambha LP, Chased Chandra's Surface Thermophysical Experiment, and ILSA, Instrument for Lunar Seismic Activity. Rambha LP will measure near-surface plasma density. Chased will carry out measurements of the thermal properties of the lunar surface, and ILSA will measure seismicity around the landing site. Chandrayaan-3 has a lander and a rover, whereas Chandrayaan-2 comprised a lander, rover, and an orbiter. With a failure-based design, Chandrayaan-3's lander has stronger legs and more fuel than its predecessor. The lander has additional solar panels on its body and is equipped with lander hazard detection and avoidance cameras for coordination during landing on the Moon. If successful, India will become the 4th country to land spacecraft on Moon's surface. Chandrayaan-3 mission rover will leave imprints of India's state emblem, which is an adaptation of Lion's capital of Ashoka at Sarnath and ISRO's logo on the moon's surface. According to a video released by ISRO, the imprints will be left behind by the rover rear wheels.
And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history.
9th July 1762. Catherine the Great assumed power. Catherine the Great overthrew Peter III on this day in 1762 and began her reign as Empress of Russia, leading her country into a full participation in the political and cultural life of Europe and extending Russia's territory. 10th July 1962. Telstar 1 launched. Telstar 1, the first communication satellite to transmit live television signals and telephone conversations across the Atlantic Ocean, was launched this day in 1962, inaugurating a new age in electronic communications. 11th July 1804. Duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. Outraged over disparaging remarks that Alexander Hamilton had allegedly made at a dinner party, Aaron Burr challenged his longtime rival to a duel, and on this day in 1804, he fatally shot Hamilton in Weehawken, New Jersey. 12th July 1984. Geraldine Ferraro designated running mate of Walter Mondale. Democratic presidential candidate Walter F. Mondale put forward Geraldine Ferraro as his running mate on this day in 1984, making her the first woman ever nominated for vice president by a major US political party. 13 July 1793. French revolutionary Jean-Paul Marat assassinated. On this day in 1793, Jean-Paul Marat, a leader of the radical Montgrand faction during the French Revolution, was stabbed to death in his bath by Charlotte Corday, a young Girondin supporter who was subsequently guillotined. 14 July 1789. Bastille stormed by Paris mob. On this day in 1789, a mob advanced on the Bastille in Paris, demanding the arms and ammunition stored there. But when the guards resisted, the crowd captured the prison, an act that symbolized the end of the ancient reign. 15 July 1965. Close-up pictures of Mars provided by Mariner 4. Mariner 4, an uncrewed space probe launched by NASA in 1964, flew by Mars and returned close-up pictures of its surface on this day in 1965. The pictures proving that the planet's rumored canals were actually illusions.
Well, that's all friends for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.